What up, guys? What up? What up? I am Blue. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about should software engineers, right? Software developers, engineers, coders, if you want to just try to keep it more simplistic. But nevertheless, should software engineers be required to have a CS degree? I'm going to say it again. Should software engineers be be mandate that they have a CS degree? So this past weekend, I actually went to go visit some friends and family members, and we had some discussions, right? And one of the discussions that I don't know how it came up, but one of the discussions that came up was about um, how software engineers are very influential now. Like they have a lot of power, right? Because they're the ones that are developing social media platforms and things of that nature. And there's a lot of control there, a lot of um, I can't think of the right word, but there's a lot. I'm trying to think of the word that was utilized. But either way, that because of that, and also because of other factors, like for example, software engineers now uh, they make, even in some cases, more than doctors. You know, they make good money. What I'm trying to say, like you got your high end software engineers that are, you know, that are killing it, that are probably making $1 million a year, right? Depends on what they're doing. Then of course you have what I want to call just your average software developer that's at a FANG company making easy $250,000 to $500,000 a year. What's in that range? That's good money, man. It is. So I think because a lot of these criteria, they make a lot of money now. Well, they're software engineers that are building social media platform or apps in general that are very influential to society and things. I don't know, things of that nature, right? That came up that because of that, there should be more accounted. There should be more harder criteria, or what's the word I'm looking for? There should be like almost like not regulation, but more so there should be more responsibility held on software engineers from a sense, and because of that, one of the criteria should be they should go to school, just like the way doctors have to go to school to practice, and then of course, lawyers have to go to school as well to practice law and things of that nature. Well, software developers need to go through the same steps because they make a lot of good money, and they're what they build um, potentially does or can affect society, and things of that nature. So because of that, they need to go to school. They need to get a CS degree before they can even get a job. Now, anybody who knows me on this channel knows very well that, especially on my background, right? I mean, those of y'all who know me already, I don't have a college degree. I didn't get my knowledge from the traditional path, which is go to a 4 year university, get a degree, learn, go get a job, get experience, and so on. That's not how I got my knowledge. I kind of had to do it the other way. I had to go get my own knowledge by just whether it be reading material, taking tutorials, YouTube. I mean, I got it from different sources pretty much. And then I had to go and try to implement. And even in my current role, before I even got paid as like a software developer, I used my skills to solve problems. And I use it to solve problems. That's what made me, that's where I became beneficial to the organization because I was doing something tangible, right? I wasn't like, hey, I know how to code, give me a job. I was like, no, I was using it to solve problems, and ultimately that's how I opened up opportunities, right? 'Cause that's how I got my foot in the door into the IT field without even having a degree, because everybody that I worked with, better yet, did have college degrees. I was just the one at the time that wasn't, and this was some years back. I do feel nowadays it's easier to get a job without a college degree. Like it's getting a little bit looser, right? I'm not saying that your chances are not slightly better, because I do feel your chances are better if you have a degree, but it's not as challenging as it was 20 years ago, is what I'm trying to say. It has gotten better. You can get a job without a degree. But either way, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. Those of y'all who know that, hey, I didn't go down the traditional path. So of course, my argument, my views was like, that's stupid. Like, why should people get a CS degree um, just because engineers are making a lot of money now, or just because, again, engineers there is power being an engineer. I feel like, right, there is power in developing, platforms and doing things of that nature, apps and so on. Um, but again, I wouldn't put it necessarily completely on on the engineer side either. That's my whole issue. Like, especially if your mindset, your views of social media are negative, like social media is bad. Social media is killing our kids, or affecting our kids, or let's say that's your belief, right? And I'm not trying to change your belief. That's not the point here. But I just assume that is what you believe and think, and again, to some degree, there's some truth into that too. So I'm not necessarily um, against that theory if that's the case. I just don't fully believe it to that extent either. But I think there's a balance in my mind, because there has always been bullying and things like that, throughout history. But either way, if that's your belief, if that what you think, um, are there some ethics involved on the way things are being implemented and pushed out and things of that nature? I do, but I'll necessarily, I guess, for me, it's like, okay, it's not completely the engineer's fault either. Most people that work in a organization where you're engineering, you're coding. Let's just keep it simple. You're coding. Um, you're getting requirements. You're implementing requirements. Sometimes you might not even know the full picture of the project. You're just working on little small pieces of the project, and then eventually everything comes together to kind of build what's trying to be built. The business, again, is the one determining what they're trying to accomplish with these new algorithms that they're implementing, things like that. I get it, the engineers are the one doing it, but they're getting direction and feedback ultimately from their manager, right? From higher up, the lead, etc. The list goes on and on. And that's why I think it's kind of odd that because of those reasons, now it's like, no, in order to hold them accountable, they should get a CS degree. They need to, because like that, if you take a CS degree, um, they, colleges should enforce, or should make students take some sort of ethics course as well, so they know, or philosophy, better yet, not a course, but it's some kind of ethics philosophy. So like that, they'll have that will help them to be better engineers and things of that nature, which I think that's a bunch of BS, because if we look through history, a lot of the scandals that we have had right throughout years, whether it be Bernie Madoff, whether it be Enron, the mortgage collapse, dude, these were all done from people that had financial background, which most likely mean they had college degrees. And again, what the hell happened there then? So philosophies and all of that, I mean, if you're trying to say that's going to help, every to reduce or minimize or even eliminate, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I just feel like that's the bad approach. But at the end of the day, again, what are your thoughts, man? Do y'all think that every software engineer, like, and again, the only way this could even happen in my mind is the government gets involved, and the government says, "Oh, you gotta have these licenses or these qualifications, but in order to even get that license, you gotta have a CS degree," which ultimately now makes it where you gotta go through this process, and then you could be considered a true software engineer, and then company will hire you after you have those criterias. And again, I don't see that ever happening, but I just wanted to bring it up. What are your thoughts about, just software engineers having to have a CS degree? Should that be the case? Um, I understand that some in some areas, maybe you're working with, let's say, NASA, and you're dealing with all the physics and algorithms, things of that nature. Okay, I do see where there's some value there. Where if you would have went to college and you kind of studied physics and things of that nature, where that knowledge would actually come in very handy for what you're working on. But I don't know if people realize those roles. There are not that many of those roles that exist. A lot of software developer roles, software engineer roles. I mean, again, etc. They're either you're building apps, you're working on front end using JavaScript, you're working on back end using JavaScript or Python or Ruby or C Sharp. You're building crude applications. You're building API. You're building endpoints. I mean that's kind of, when you think about it, that's not of the core of it. What you're doing, right? I mean, in my mind, does that require a CS degree? I don't think it does, man. I don't think it does. Better yet, not that I don't think it does. I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't, right? So again, should what are your thoughts on that, man? Should people be required to get a CS degree in order to become a software engineer? Leave your thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say. Um, Again, guys, thanks for watching. Give me a like, give me a follow. I appreciate it, guys. Peace.